My name is Reema Darira, and I welcome you all to the third day of the Global Maritime Summit 2023. It's been an eventful 2 days, and the excitement and the energy continues as we move on to the first session of day 3. Here in this room, our spotlight is on Odisha. So we have a special session of Odisha, one of the top 10 export states of the country. We have the honor of our esteemed dignitaries here. I would be inviting them to the dais. Please do welcome them with a warm applause. I'd request our Honorable Minister of Water Resources and Commerce and Transport, Srimati Tukuni Sahu, to join us on the dais. We also have Shri Sanjay Kumar Mishra, IRTS, Special Secretary, Commerce and Transport Department, Government of Odisha. Shri P.L. Harnad, IRTS, Chairman, Paradip Port Authority. Shri Bhupendra Singh Punia, IAS, Managing Director, IPI COL. Shri Devendra Thakkar, CEO, Dhamara Port Company Limited. Shri V. Janardhana Rao, CEO, Gopalpur Port Limited. Shri Dilip Kumar Nayak, Chief Marine Engineer, Principal, School of Maritime Studies, Centurion University, Odisha. And also welcome to the dais, Captain Manoranjan Singh, Faculty, Course in Charge, School of Maritime Studies, Centurion University, Odisha. With this, I invite to the podium Shri Sanjay Kumar Mishra ji for the welcome address and context setting on the topic of Odisha Maritime Vision 2030, Unlocking the State's Maritime Potential. Over to you.
Good morning to you all. A warm welcome to this Odisha session. And it really gives a lot of happiness when one sees the full hall for this session. Honorable Minister, Commerce and Water Resources, Government of Odisha, Madam Tukuni Sahu, and with me in the dais, Sri Bhupendra Singh Punia, his Managing Director, IDCO, Industrial Promotion Investment Corporation, so also Industrial Development Corporation of Odisha, Sri P.L. Harnath, Chairman Paradip Port, Sri Devendra Thakkar, his CEO, Dhamra Port, Sri Dilip Kumar Nayak, he is the Dean and the Principal and Chief Marine Engineer from Centurion University, Odisha, and Sri Manoranjan Singh, he is a maritime professional and a young blood who is now taking the next generation of Odisha into maritime sector in the process of teaching and mentoring them. When we talk about Odisha, quite certainly we know that it's a principal maritime state on the eastern coast of India and has got 480 kilometers of coastline, which covers 6 districts of the state. Odisha has a very rich heritage of maritime and dating back to 7th century. From the archaeological evidence and from very literary sources, and from the geographers like travelers Ptolemy, Pliny, Phaian, and Huensang, the ancient maritime history of the state is well known. And with the Netflix series, as we talk about the Icelandic saga and the sea voyage and the effort of Ragnar Lodbrok, where the Nordic countries were trying to come to the British Isle. That was in 9th century, but our history of Odisha in maritime sector is 200 years before that. And the ancient ports at that time which were operating were Chelitalo, which is the modern Konark, Tamralipti, which is now Tamluk, which is in West Bengal. Palur is still continuing with us, and we are trying to develop a port because it's a very beautiful site. Barua, it is the Bahuda Muhar, which is one of the most potential port facility. If somebody is interested, any private investors, then that can also be developed. And we had established trade routes which were going all the way to kingdoms like Greece, Rome, Java, Sumatra, Brahmadesh, which is today's Burma, Sinhala, which is Ceylon, Bali, that is Indonesia, and Malaya, that is Malaysia. Every year we celebrate the maritime history of the state in the form of Bali Jatra, that is just to commemorate the voyage of the Odia traders to the countries of Indonesia, Malaysia, Java, Sumatra. And for the first time, when our Honorable Prime Minister had gone for G20 meeting to Indonesia, that was also referred. And for the first time, Indonesia is also starting a Bali Jatra from their end in Bali. In the present day scenario, when we look at what is the maritime prospect of the state of Odisha, just for your information, of course, it is known to everybody that we have one major port, that is Paradip, which had handled 135 million ton of cargo last year. And at this moment, after completion of 2 quarters, it is the number 1 port in the country. And probably this will be the number 1 port of the country this year, maybe with a margin of 4 million ton and maybe reaching to 145 million ton. We have a vibrant port, that is Dhamra, which has been developed under PPP mode. Last year it had handled 33 million ton of cargo. And because these are the ports which really dynamic as far as handling of their cargo, because dependence on the iron ore, and iron ore is something, even if you have iron ore, certain times policies they do affect the traffic of iron ore. But at this moment it is also doing well. It is adding on capacities for another 3 berths. It's a deep draft port which has got 18 to 20 meters of draft. And one of the East Coast part of the port scenario and within the ambit of Odisha Maritime Board. This is one of the beautiful ports and it has got a lot of prospects. And we have one functional non-major port which is again within Odisha Maritime Board, is Gopalpur port, and it had handled 10 million ton of cargo. Dhamra port has come up with an LNG terminal and Gopalpur port has entered into an agreement also for an LNG terminal. And many more things are coming up. Besides that, we have 2 other ports which is under development. One is in Subarnarekha confluence in Bay of Bengal, that is Subarnarekha port, and that is being developed by Tatas. And there is also one port which is coming in Astarang, and that is being developed by Navyug. And these are the ports which are again very prospective and deep draft ports. And with these ports coming up, we will have 4 non-major ports with us. Over and above that, we have circulated, we have notified Odisha Port Policy 2022, which is an all-inclusive policy that talks about development of the port through PPP mode. The same way, we are now also giving captive jetty facilities for the anchor industry, having quite good prospect and investment and employment generation in the state, we have entered into an MOU with JSW Group to go for a captive jetty in Jatadhar, Mohan. AMNS is also have given its proposal for captive jetties, and that has also been cleared in single window clearance cell of the state of Odisha. And very soon we are going to bid out the riverine port, which is in discussion for last 1 to 2 years. For some reason we are not able to do that, but now we are also going to bid out for the riverine port. Over and above that, we have another 10 locations which have been studied well by IIT Madras, starting from south, Bahuda Mohan, Gopalpur is already there. We have another location, Palur. After that you get Astarang, after that you get Paradip, and after that Dhamra and Subarnarekha. And in between there are another 4 locations which are also potential sites for port development. Now a new SPV has come up, that is Inland Waterways, that is for development of NW5 and NW64, where Coal India Limited is participating with 33% of equity, and that will be working as one of the most efficient, fuel saving, less carbon footprint, taking coal from Talcher to Paradip port, and there will be 2 other legs to that also, and Dhamra port is one of it. A lot of changes are being conceived in the port policy, and in the same way, Logistics Policy 2022 has come, that is Industrial Policy Resolution. That is one of the most daring attempt of government of Odisha, which really aims at attracting those who are interested really. That means the offer is exciting. Incentives are being given, hand-holding is being given, and land identification, power infrastructure, everything is included in that. Over and above that, there is a renewable energy policy, because the present buzzword is zero carbon footprint by 2070 and 40% of less use of thermal energy by 2030. And the buzz is green hydrogen, green ammonia. And probably today Gopalpur port will be signing to MOU to itself by Avarla and Acme, because they are coming up with facility in Tata SEZ area in Gopalpur, and finally they will be using the port facility of Gopalpur for that purpose. So many new things are there, and we have also conceived, that is rehabilitate rehabilitate, operate and transfer. We have got a lot of fishery jetties. Actually they are not in a proper developed and modern condition. So we aim at that any private participation is always welcome to that, so that we club and bundle all the fishery jetties, and finally that is being integrated with cold chain movement and other transportation, containerization of the fishing possibilities and prospects, and giving a fillip to the blue economy of the state. Many more opportunities, like for example, we have even included tourism in the port policy, and we are thinking in terms of also seaplane, because as it is, Odisha is full of water resources. That means connecting the coastal area to the southern part of the area, where bigger hydel projects are there. We are also thinking in terms of an active discussion rather, that seaplane movement can also start in Odisha. And cruise, we have got the best Chandrabhaga, that is the Konark, which is the ancient, present day Konark, and the ancient Chelitalo, where Chandrabhaga area can be developed as a good marina and the cruise terminal, and finally can get itself connected to Calcutta that side and to Vizag to this side. So a lot of opportunities are there. So I will not be taking much time, because we have our own experts available here. Our MD Pickle, Mr. Bhupinder Singh is there. He will be able to take you through other prospects of the coastal and maritime development of the state. And as you know, Odisha is rich in mineral, and highest percentage of iron ore, chromite, nickel, bauxite and manganese deposits of India are available in Odisha. And we thrive in that, and steel plants are coming up leaps and bounds. At this moment, if we are talking about 25 million ton of steel being produced, maybe after 5 years you will see that the number is reaching to 60 million ton. To that extent, the infrastructure is required. We have even mapped the Jagatsinghpur Paradip corridor and the hub of it, how it is going to come up under the scenario of the development of the steel sectors. So with this, I will be leaving this dais to other our experts, and our Honorable Minister is with us here, and the visionary leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister. So Navin Patnaik is always, his buzzword is that what is not available anywhere, that should be available in state of Odisha. And we should be looking forward to that occasion, that anybody, whoever comes with whatever problem, we should be really going ahead, 10 steps ahead, handhold them, make them to understand the things, convince them, and let it be the major destination of investment. And in that context, we are one among the achievers in the Leeds survey in 2022, and Leeds survey 2023 is awaiting. And hopefully, with Lord Jagannath, we hope that all of you will be coming and participating in the growth story of Odisha, partner in prosperity, and we will be looking forward to any kind of interaction anywhere. And our door is open. So with this, I welcome you all to this session of Odisha. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for setting the direction to this session today. And with this, we move ahead with the felicitation ceremony and giving a very warm welcome to our session chair, Srimati Tukuni Sahu, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Transport of Odisha. May I request Shri P.L. Harnad, Chairman of Paradip Port Authority, to do the honors. And welcome, ma'am, with a shawl and a memento. Can we have a warm applause? I will also request Shri P.L. Harnad, sir, to also felicitate our convener, Shri Sanjay Kumar Mishra. And also our dignitaries on the dais, Shri Bhupendra Singh Punia. Shri Devendra Thakkar. Shri V. Janardhana Rao. Shri Dilip Kumar Nayak. And Captain Manoranjan Singh. Thank you so much, sir. We now have the MOU exchange on the stage amidst our dignitaries. So I'll request for the first MOU to be exchanged between Acme Cleantech Solutions Private Limited, I request the representative to come forward, and Gopalpur Ports Limited for exporting of green ammonia from Gopalpur Port. Could we have a louder applause? Our next MOU is between Avada Green H2 Private Limited and Gopalpur Ports Limited for exporting of green ammonia from Gopalpur Port. We also have an MOU between Mysore Ammonia Cryogenic Storage Private Limited and Gopalpur Ports Limited for development of Greenfield Ammonia Storage Terminal at Gopalpur Port. Thank you, sir. We also have one more MOU, and this would be between DCI, PPA, and IDCO, Government of Odisha, for rupees 900 crores using the dredging materials for filling of IOCL site. I request Captain S. Divakar, MD and CEO from DGI, Shri PL Harna, Chairman of PPA, and Mr. Bhupendra Singh Punia, IAS, MD of IDCO, on stage. Could we have a huge round of applause? It's not only an exchange of the MOUs, it's an exchange of energy between these two parties. Thank you so much. Let's move ahead. And on this dais, we have our session chair, and we've been eagerly waiting to hear from her. So, ma'am, I welcome you to the podium for your address. And the topic would be Odisha Maritime Strategy, Fostering Sustainable Growth and International Collaborations. And ma'am's going to throw light on this topic and for her session. Could we welcome her with a huge round of applause?
जय जगन्नाथ, सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। आज इतनी बड़ी समारोह, आप जैसे जानते हैं, इंडियाज़ बिगेस्ट मैरीटाइम बोर्ड आज ओडिशा सेशन मंच में उपस्थित हमारे स्पेशल सेक्रेटरी संजय सर, मंचासीन समस्त सम्मानित उपस्थित सम्मानित अतिथिगण और यहाँ पर पधारे हुए सभी सम्मानित व्यक्तित्व, सभी को मेरा सादर प्रणाम। बहुत खुशी लगा। सबसे पहले मैं भारत सरकार को तहे दिल से बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन ज्ञापन करती हूँ और धन्यवाद देती हूँ। इतनी बड़ी बिगेस्ट इवेंट करने के लिए जो उनका सोच है, इसीलिए मैं ओडिशा से आई हूँ। ओडिशा से मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ। मैं कल आई थी, यहाँ पे जितना स्टॉल है सबको घूमी। कर्नाटक में देखी कि क्या क्या करते हैं, बांग्लादेश को देखी, छत्तीसगढ़ को देखी, ओडिशा का स्टॉल को देखी, ऐसे बहुत सारे स्टॉल में हम लोग घूमे। आज ओडिशा में जितना स्कोप है आप लोग जानते हैं, हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री नवीन पटनायक जी को, जिनका सोच है वो एक बार नहीं लगातार 23 साल से सरकार गठन करके उड़ीसा के लिए सबसे पहले उनका सोच है एक भी काम करने के लिए जैसे सब काम लोगों के लिए पहुँचे। उनका जो सोच है वो सोच के लिए आज सारे उड़ीसा के लोग उनको 23 साल सरकार गठन करके सरकार को आगे चलाने के लिए उनको स्कोप दिए हैं। ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। भारतवर्ष में वो इतनी आगे गए हैं और उड़ीसा को आगे लेने के लिए जो उनकी सोच है, मैं आज इस इवेंट में उनका संदेश है जो यहाँ पे आए हुए सभी लोग को वो धन्यवाद दिए हैं। और मैं एक बार बोलती हूँ, मैं यहाँ जब आई कल जब हम सारे स्टॉल में गए और सभी स्टॉल के जो सीईओ थे, जो पर्सनालिटी थे, सबके साथ बात की। और अब जब आई हमारे अदानी ग्रुप का जो सीईओ थे हमारा सर सुब्रत सर से बात की। और सभी हमारे सीईओ जो लोग हैं हमारा गोपालपुर, सुवर्णरेखा, धामरा, अस्तरंग, सभी सीईओ से मैं बात की क्या क्या काम करना है, क्या काम करके हम उड़ीसा से जैसे बहुत सारे स्कोप है। हमारा कोस्ट लाइन एरिया जितना हमारा उड़ीसा में है, जैसे 480 किलोमीटर्स हमारा एरिया है, वहाँ पे हम मेरीटाइम बोर्ड में कैसे काम कर सकते हैं और उड़ीसा को कैसे आगे ले सकते हैं। और मैं एक बात बोलती हूँ, अगर स्कोप है, हमारा इच्छा शक्ति है काम करने के लिए, और हमारा वो इच्छा शक्ति को कैसे आगे बढ़ा चुके हैं, कैसे बढ़ाने के लिए हमारा कोशिश रहेगा। ये इसीलिए हम तहे दिल से स्वागत करती हूँ आप लोगों के लिए। जैसे हम जानते हैं एम्प्लॉयमेंट ज़रूरी है, जैसे हमारा एरिया में कोई काम मिलेगा, जैसे कंपनी आएंगे, जैसे धामरा पोर्ट में बहुत सारे स्कोप हुए हैं। मैं पहले धामरा पोर्ट के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ। और पारादीप पोर्ट जैसे हमारा ऑल इंडिया में जैसे पारादीप पोर्ट हमारा एरिया में जो काम करते हैं, वहाँ पे कार्गो में जितना फैसिलिटी है, वो कार्गो कैसे बाहर जितना हमारा रफ्तानी होता है वो सब काम करने के लिए उनका स्कोप है। इसीलिए मैं तहे दिल से आप लोग को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ। हमारा एरिया में हम जानते हैं माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जैसे सरकार में जो काम करने के लिए उनका सोच है, वो सब काम को रूपांतरण करके वो हमारे प्रत्येक काम को कैसे तृणमूल स्तर में पहुंचाएंगे, वो सोच रख के हमारे सरकार काम करते हैं। आज इतनी बड़ी इवेंट में ओडिशा का जो सेशन हो रहा है, इतने सारे आप लोग के उपस्थित में मेरा आप लोग को बहुत बहुत शुभेच्छा है। जैसे हम लोग को मिलजुल के काम करेंगे और हमारा ओडिशा कैसे भारत सरकार के जो अनुदान प्राप्त करते हैं उसको लेके कैसे हम लोग मिलजुल के काम करेंगे, और भारत में जितनी राज्य है वो राज्य में ओडिशा कैसे आगे आएगा, ये मैं स्वागत करती हूँ, अभिनंदन करती हूँ और शुभेच्छा करती हूँ। और मुझे आज यहाँ पे बहुत खुशी लगती है कि हम लोग आए, बहुत सारे स्टॉल घूमे, उड़ीसा में क्या काम करने का स्कोप है, कैसे काम करने से और आगे जा सकते हैं। जितना पोर्ट है हम काम, जैसे मैं बोली गोपालपुर पोर्ट, सुवर्णरेखा, हमारा धामरा, अस्तरंग और सारे और भी हमारे नया पोर्ट खुलने का हमारा सरकार का जैसे विजन है, वो विजन को कैसे आगे लेंगे, वो भारत सरकार के साथ मिलजुल के काम करने का हम लोग लक्ष्य रखें। और मुझे 2 पद बोलने के लिए जो सुযোग मिला है, इसीलिए तहे दिल से आप लोग को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ। प्रभु जगन्नाथ आप सबको आशीर्वाद दे, हम ओडिशा को कैसे भाईचारा में आगे बढ़ाए, मिलजुल के काम करें, ये शुभेच्छा दे के मेरे वक्तव्य शेष करती हूँ। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, audience, for that enthralling applause that you just gave, ma'am, right now after a speech. Because for you also, you know that, it was not just a speech, but it came from the heart. And that is what a woman leader does. She doesn't talk logically. She talks from her heart. And she extended her, invitation to all of you to come to Odisha. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let's move ahead. We have the next speaker to come onto the podium, and let me introduce the theme of this, the speaker. Ease of doing business and investment opportunities in Odisha. The topic would be on these investment and trade opportunities at Odisha's maritime sector. And to deliver the PPT and the presentation is Shri Bhupendra Singh Punia. Sir, I'll request you to come to the podium for your presentation.
Good morning, all. Honorable Minister, respected guest on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning again, and I welcome all of you in this Odisha session. And Honorable Minister and Special Secretary, Commerce and Transport Department, they have discussed the long tradition of maritime culture in the state of Odisha, along with the new opportunities available, the existing ports, their capacity and the future plan. Along with that, Sagarmala, I was just saying that, port-led prosperity. This is the, theme which is echoing everywhere, not only in the Odisha, but in the country and I think across the globe also. So I will take through you what kind of opportunities for investment, not only in the maritime sector, but in the industrial sector also are available in the state of Odisha. So why we are so successful in attracting the investment in the last decade is because of these 5 pillars, which we feel that are our strength. One is polity. Okay. So as Honorable Minister said that our leader for last 23 years is leading the state, Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, Sri Naveen Patnaik. So political stability means the policy stability also, which I think for the industry's stability, certainty is something which is very, very important. And the progressive policies, as Honorable our Minister also said, that we are open to learn, that we have visited, we are learning what best can be done so we can progress and the country can progress. And the pro-people governance. So because of these things, for last 2 decades, we are one of the fastest growing economy in the country. And you can see that in the Eastern India, we are the first and also the post-COVID fastest recovery in the country. Along with that, these are the figures which will tell that whatever efforts we are doing in attracting the investment are getting actual fruit. So in the last year, we have been the second state in the country to attract the investment in the financial year 23. And these are the figures which are telling that these investments are not only intense, but the grounding of the projects is taking place. These are the few facts and figures about our industrialization, as we have been telling that we have long tradition of maritime history. Along with that, we have our industrialization is basically mines and mineral development dependent. So you see across the states, we have minerals and we are number 1 in steel, stainless steel, aluminium and alumina production. So many of you may not be knowing these facts about the state of Odisha. We are also number 1 in iron ore, bauxite, manganese, chromite, nickel, and number 2 in the coal production. So these industries, and you see that all big names in the metal sectors are present in the state of Odisha. Because of that, our infrastructure is attuned to service these big industries. So maybe rail, road, or the ports. Because without ports, these big industries can't survive. That's why we are saying that, there is lot of opportunities in port sector as well as the industrial sector. Second thing is our geographical location in the state, in the country, and also in the world. So that you not only, if you are located in the Odisha, you can not only are nearer to the Asian countries, but you can cater to the many landlocked states like Bihar, UP, MP, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Telangana. So you can be the gateway for these states. Also, again I am repeating, because of our nature of industries, our rail, road and the port infrastructure is very, very developed and we are growing. So there are 6 sectors which will say they are thrust sectors which we want to diversify our economic activities and industrial landscape. These are apparel and garments because they are labor intensive, so we provide the maximum incentive. Because we are using the mineral resources, so also we are focusing on the green, so the renewable energy equipment, metal downstream again to add value, but because we are the largest producer of primary metal, so we want to diversify and provide more value addition in the metal downstream. We are one of the PCPIR region at Paradeep. So chemical and petrochemicals are also one of our thrust sector. Food processing, we are fourth largest marine food exporter in the country. Again, exchange of MOUs might have indicated that we are pioneer in green hydrogen ammonia and also facilitating, because our industries, we feel that because all the heavy metal industries, they are focusing on decarbonization, reducing carbon footprint. So we have to provide them this kind of ecosystem, so not only they can sustain, but they can compete in the world. So again, I'd say we have long coastline and very nearer and well connected to Asian region. So those who are interested or having trade link or interest in this region, I think Odisha is the ideal location. Again, this is our infrastructure, industrial infrastructure. I will say that in the eastern you can see Kolkata, Chennai National Highway, and all our functional ports, Dhamra, Paradeep, Gopalpur, Subarnrekha, and the rail connectivity along this national highway connects you to the north, northeast, south, and the other highway connecting the central India through Raipur or Ranchi, and the western part, Raulkela, from Raulkela to Malkangiri. This is Biju Economic Expressway, that is economic corridor. The northern and southern part is mineral rich, and the western part, for last 1 decade, government has been investing heavily in the irrigation potential. So this region is coming out to be very, very agriculture powerhouse. So these ports and the infrastructure is very much conducive for the industrial activities. So again, I am saying, we also mentioned that these are the new ports which are waiting for the development. So we invite those who are interested in developing new ports in different sectors, so they may visit us, and we are here only, they can discuss. So as Special Secretary Commerce and Transport Department, he was mentioning that we have just launched Odisha Port Policy that provides for the private investment in the port sector. We are there to facilitate and help. So for different small, medium, major, captive, all kinds of port infrastructure is welcome. Again, because of what we were discussing, the port-led prosperity or port-led industrialization. So in all major functional port, we have large land banks. So what we promote at Paradeep, it's our PCPIR region, so chemical, petrochemicals and plastic sector. So in this, those who are interested to invest in these sectors or to provide facilities to industries already existing in the chemical sectors, as recently we saw the exchange of MOU to provide tankage, storage, or the utility corridors to the chemicals or hydrogen or ammonia or like that, gas or the liquid. So those industries are also welcome there. And also because IOCL refinery of 15 MMTPA is there, so the raw material for the downstream industries in the form of PTJ, MEG, PP, ethylene, propylene, HDP, and also the most important is the upcoming naphtha cracker, which will be the huge investment in the eastern seaboard. So that will further provide opportunities to downstream players in the chemical sector. So all are welcome at Paradeep for that. So again, the downstream of the petrochemical is the technical textiles and apparel. Apparel, mostly we provide, you can see the big names there, and we are getting good traction. No, apart from the facilitation and incentive, the most important advantage we have in case of the apparel sector is the skilled manpower. So our skilling authority, Odisha Skill Development Authority and the Skill Development Department, we have large ecosystem of providing quality skill to our youth. So that's how the many big players in the apparel sectors are in Odisha, and many more are coming. Again, food processing sector is also one of our thrust sector, because it's we have very diverse agroclimatic conditions, so different kinds of crops are available throughout the year in the state of Odisha, and so food processing and value addition is the natural progression. And in last few years, we have been able to attract big names. I think almost all big names of the country are present in Odisha. They are not only present, but they are expanding. So those who are interested in this sector, we again welcome. Again, ESDM, IT, ITS, and data centers. So this is the growing sector, and Bhubaneswar is, I think, the one of the best tier 2 city, and has been able to attract investment in IT sector. You can see the all big names. These are mostly recent development. In last 2-3 years, we have been able to attract these big IT firms in the state of Odisha and nearly Bhubaneswar. So apart from policies and incentives we provide to the these IT companies, the best part is the again availability of the skilled or educated manpower, because in and around Bhubaneswar we have very good educational institutes of national repute, regional repute, engineering colleges, IIT. So that ecosystem, and being the small city, a peaceful city, I think it's a big attraction for the IT industries. That the all factors what we are discussing ultimately results into the reducing your cost of doing business. So ease, peace, and the cost of doing business, that's the big magnet which we have been able to attract. So those who are interested in this sector, you are most welcome to the Odisha. So as I discussed, our economy, our progress is heavily dependent on the natural resources. So it's our added responsibility to promote sustainability, green power. So these sectors are our thrust sector, where we provide maximum incentives, and the result of the policy and our commitment to the sustainability and climate, I think 4 big green hydrogen players, they have already started their next activities. 2 of them, they have exchanged MOUs today. So all these energy, renewable, hydrogen, heavy equipment, aerospace, defense, and vehicles, automobiles, mostly electronic vehicles, these are our thrust sector, and we commit to provide all kinds of facility, good parcels of land near the capital region. So we understand that for the electronic manufacturing, the airport and access to the good infrastructure and the city is very, very essential. So that you are welcome in these sectors. Again, every state claims that they have the best single window. For that, I will not say much, but I will request you all that you discuss with your friends, those who are in the industry, those who have already invested in the state of Odisha. I am sure, we are sure that they will tell you the truth, and we claim and we believe that there is a lot of difference and in our facilitation services. So whatever factors I was discussing, will result into cost of doing business. It will reduce the cost of doing business. Many of you are in well-established, very old industrial areas, states or estates. There now, because after a point, scale also breeds in, negative externalities. So that result into cost and other added factors. Being the new area, new market, growing market, not only the market of Odisha but the neighboring state, I think this is the best location now to invest and expand. So land, obviously, all we provide at highly subsidized rate at very good locations. Apart from whatever mineral I mentioned, I must tell you that water is one thing. We have around 11% of water resources of the country. So one of the critical ingredient of the industrial development, so that at highly competitive rate we provide. We are, because we are coal rich, so we are also power surplus state. So you will be surprised to know that our captive power capacity is more than 12,000 megawatt. So in that respect, we not only provide the power, but its quality and at very, very reasonable price. And for the skill development, I have already discussed. So this is the ecosystem of the skill development and the skills which are required for the IT industry. These are near Bhubaneswar. So these many institutes of the national importance and repute, they are there, and also our World Skill Center, which we run with the help of the ITEES Singapore. So they are one of the best facility. Whoever is visiting Bhubaneswar, many of you might have visited the World Skill Center. We are proud of it, and if you will see, you will also appreciate the efforts we are putting into skilling our youth. Apart from that, we provide the best of the best training available across the globe as of now, but we have committed that if any industry want their manpower to be trained in a particular trade at a particular location at our own cost, we do that. So we can co-develop the modules, training modules at the World Skill Center, or if that training is available anywhere in the world. If suppose German company is investing in Odisha and they want to send 50 Udia to get skill at Germany, so we pay the entire cost. So that's our commitment. If our youths are getting the employment, we will skill them as per your requirement. So that's other. These are incentive parts. So we have two categories. One is priority sector and the other is thrust sector. So whatever sectors we have discussed today are mostly in the thrust sector, where we provide 30% of capital investment subsidy without any upper cost. If you are investing 100 crore rupees, you will get 30 crore back. If you are investing 10,000 crores, and accordingly, if you are investing 1 lakh crore, accordingly you will get. So there is no cap. And because these new age industries are mostly power intensive industries, so we are also hand-holding and providing support for 10 years, 100% exemption on electricity duty, and rupees 2 per unit power tariff reimbursement. And I must tell you that our power tariffs are highly competitive. Now it's rupees 5.8 landing cost. So on that also we are providing 2 rupees of power tariff reimbursement. Again, 100% reimbursement of net SGST paid overall limited to 200% of your investment in plant and machinery. And if you are investing in the Western Odisha, along the Biju Expressway, we provide up to 300% of the net SGST. And there is no time limit. Earlier it was 5 years, 10 years. So many of the investors, they were not able to take full advantage of this clause. So we have removed the time limit. So whatever you may take 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years, you can avail this facility. And 100% reimbursement of ESI, EPF contribution by the employer up to 7 years if you employ the local people. So these are the incentives. Apart from incentives, as I was saying, that it's opportunities because of market, because of our economy, because of our location, because of our policy, and availability of skilled manpower, which we are sure that that will reduce your cost of doing business to a great extent. So that's how. And along the ports, Dhamra, be it Paradip, be it Gopalpur, Subarnrekha, or along the new ports also, we have good parcel of industrial grade land. We all welcome you. We will be happy to host you at Bhubaneswar anytime. Please come, just inform us, see us. Seeing is believing. Whatever I am saying, you might have heard for last 2 days so many sessions. So it's better, please do come. We will be happy to host you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm sure the delegates have noted your coordinates and they'll connect with you. Moving ahead, our next theme for the presentations are ports as catalysts, fueling trade growth and economic prosperity in Odisha. And to present the same, we have Shri P.L. Harnaji, and he'll be talking on the topic Unlocking Odisha's Maritime Trade Potential, Major Port Initiatives and Trade Facilitation Strategies. Could we please welcome him to the podium with applause?
जय जगन्नाथ अपना समस्त मानव को शुभ सकाल. So, Honorable Minister for Commerce and Transport, Government of Odisha, Madam Tukuni Sahu, and the guests on the dais and off the dais. I am very much honored and delighted to be part of this very insightful session on Odisha. India is hosting this Global Maritime India Summit that itself highlights the importance that India is giving to the maritime sector and also the need to connect various players involved across the globe at one place to discuss on various issues. As you know that the global maritime sector is passing through very challenging and transformative phase, because the industry has been hit by various shocks, multiple shocks for the last few years, and which were more intense than those received earlier. But Indian maritime industry has been resilient enough to bounce back with very much vigor. In fact, last year, 22-23, the Indian major port sector has registered almost about more than 10% growth rate, which is very healthy. So you can see, just I want to highlight some issues. If you see that we are about 3.4 trillion economy today, and we are moving very fast under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji towards 5 trillion economy by 2026 and 7 trillion economy by 2030. Normally the port traffic grows at a growth rate of 1.1x to 1.5x to the GDP growth rate. But even if we take a very low level of optimistic levels, even if it grows at 1x, the present 1.45 billion tons of volumes which we handle, it will grow to almost about 2.4 billion tons. Roughly 1 billion ton extra we have to handle in next 4-5 years itself. So which very stupendous task for all of us. Next slide. So you can see, if the worldwide, if you can see, the world trade is growing, the vessel size is increasing. Definitely you can see that the yellow line is coming down, which is the vessels with less than 10,000 TEUs. The red line is going up, which is more than 10,000 TEUs. The vessel size is growing, definitely. And the ports are moving towards mega ports, higher capacity, 600, 700, 800 million ton capacity ports. So because the cost of logistics will always be less if the volumes are high. Previously. So you can see that last 9 years we can consider as a transformative phase for Indian maritime sector, as the government of India has taken a number of steps which are required for the port sector to grow at a sufficient growth rate. The first one is the Major Port Authorities Act, which has given a lot of flexibility and for us to take decisions at the ground level itself. We need not go to the higher levels for taking any decision. Every decision which is required to be taken for improving the port capacity and port handling can be taken at the port level itself. Then the Sagarmala program, which is the most important program, which is germinated 9 years ago, has created almost a kind of major sea change. The capacity of the ports has gone up double now. It was about 800 million tons in 2014. Today the capacity of the major ports is 1600 million tons. Yesterday in the inaugural session, the Honorable Prime Minister has said that we, at present level of 2600 all Indian port capacity, it will go to 10,000 million ton capacity by 2047. He has unveiled the vision of the Indian maritime sector yesterday. The third is the Maritime Vision 2030, which has given clear-cutly laid down and in different fields, in smart initiatives, in green initiatives, in capacity augmentation, in the modernization, what each and every port has to do. Stepwise, it has detailed, and all the ports are working towards it. And the national monetization pipeline and all the things, Gati Shakti master plan. So Sagarmala was concentrating on the capacity augmentation at the major ports. Now, earlier in 2014, the vessels used to, I have seen the vessels in various ports used to wait for 6 days, 7 days, 10 days, and 15 days. Today, those vessels hardly wait. The average pre-berthing detention has come down to hours. So this itself, because the capacity has increased, now I have enough capacity, the berths are waiting for the vessels to come rather than vessels waiting for the berths. So what the Sagarmala has done for the capacity augmentation of the ports, the Gati Shakti is going to do for the hinterland connectivity. Today, we are short of hinterland connectivity, still required to be augmented, whether the railway capacity, road capacity, waterway capacity is underutilized. Now the Gati Shakti will provide that required impetus, because today we have a cargo available in the hinterland and we have a capacity at the ports, but due to lack of appropriate connectivity, the capacity at the ports is underutilizing. The customers are incurring heavy logistic costs and they are going far away ports to export their materials, to import their materials also. Next slide. And already the speakers earlier, Mr. Punia and Mr. Sanjay Mishra has talked about the Odisha. Odisha, you know, that is the top 10 export states also. And despite having 6% of the coastline, today Odisha is handling about 12% of the total cargo volumes handled by the Indian ports. That is, and then the Odisha policy has also been highlighted, and this I will not go past of time. So just you see the cargo handling at the ports of Odisha. As on date, we have one major port and two non-major ports. The ports are growing. Overall put together last year in 22-23, all the ports of Odisha handled about 174 million tons. Of course, the coal, fuel, iron ore are the major commodities handled by the ports. So, if you can see the market potential of Odisha, this is only for Odisha, but Odisha ports cater to the Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, part of West Bengal also, but that I have not taken into account. Then the numbers will go further. So, by 2030, the Odisha ports potential, Odisha cargo, that means exim cargo potential of the Odisha itself will go from 174 to 250 by 2030 and then 450 by 2047. It will be much more if you consider the rest of the hinterland also. Next slide. Yeah, if you come to Paradeep, how the Paradeep is planning to facilitate this cargo? You know that Paradeep is the highest rated capacity port in the country as on date, and it has been declared as the #1 port and has been awarded Sagar Shrestha Samman last year by Government of India for overall performance. And we have given the 30% of incremental growth last year. After the total growth of the country, one port has given 30% growth. And we have the highest productivity port in the country. And we have also the charges are the lowest in the Paradeep port. Even if you compare to the neighboring international ports, Paradeep port is the cheapest port in terms of tariff. Next slide. So you can see how the Paradeep port growth story, the capacity last 9 years under Sagarmala, so we have increased our capacity by 30%. Cargo volumes increased by 100%. And our productivity, which is 18,000 in 2014, today it has gone up to 31,000, almost more than doubling. The vessel turnaround, which was 120 hours in 2014, has come down to 47 hours. So you can see how the improvement has happened at Paradip Port. So the key strategies which we are going to adopt, one is the capacity augmentation, second with the draft enhancement. Today the draft is 14.5 in general. One particular dock of Paradip Port is 16-meter draft, but now we are going to increase our draft to 18-meter entire port, and which will handle the largest Cape vessels of the world. And we have a port-led industrialization strategy, cargo diversification. These are the various strategies we are adopting, and I will detail in the next slides. So this is the future projects, because basically we have highlight showcasing these projects for investments in future. We can see that those red lines, that means A1, A2, A3, A4, these are the 4 berths which are semi-mechanized berths as on date. We will be mechanizing to improve the productivity as well as the capacity. And the yellow ones, the B1, B2, B3, and these 3 are the new berths we will be constructing for handling of additional cargo. Next slide. So this is the Western Dock project, which is already on, and yesterday we have given the award of concession. This will enable entire Paradip Port to handle the Cape vessels. It will add 25 million tons of traffic additional capacity to the port. Next slide. So this is our vision 2047. We will be going to 300 million tons by 2025, 400 million tons by 2030, and by 2047, we will be reaching 500 million capacity port in the country. Probably this is the first port to reach 500 million in the country. Next slide. So this, as a part of port-led industrialization, this is the most important thing. It is the best way of marketing the cargo. And we have a limited land. Whatever limited land is available with us, we have given for the industries. Around almost 760 acres of land we have given, and which is mostly for pellet plants, oil tankers, and then container multimodal logistic paths. And these will give us additional 50 million tons of traffic, which will become captive to us. Next slide. So these are the cargo diversification strategies we are planning. We have a very huge container volumes in our hinterland. We have estimated that within 200 kilometer radius from the Paradip, we have today itself we have 2 lakh TEUs of cargo, which is not coming to Paradip. And government of Odisha, I must thank them that they are supporting us in this process. We had a number of meetings with container liners. We are trying to attract this container traffic in a big way in next couple of years and reach 2 lakh TEUs in next 2 years. And we are also developing a multimodal logistic park which will be completed by this December itself. And we have a green hydrogen, green ammonia. The government of Odisha is also very, very liberal in its approach to promote the green ammonia, green hydrogen near to Paradip. We are developing an exclusive green ammonia, green hydrogen berth with a capacity of 5 million ton capacity. And we are also investing in the entire common user infrastructure required will be funded by Paradip. And whoever comes, these bunkering green hydrogen players, simply they have to plug into our systems and they can bunker the vessels, they can export the green hydrogen, green ammonia through Paradip Port. And we have so many other cargoes we are targeting, because traditionally the Paradip Port has been depending on the coal and iron ore. Now it is the time to diversify our cargo, to serve the customers of our hinterland. A lot of industries, various industries have come up. These people should be properly served by Paradip Port. That's why we are diversifying the cargo basket, trying to ensure that all types of commodities, whatever you name, will be handled at Paradip in next 2-3 years. Next slide. So this is the most important thing. As I said, the connectivity is also very important. Simply improving the things at the ports will not be sufficient. So what we are planning is, you can see that a number of projects, almost total 22 rail projects and 6 road projects have been flagged under Gati Shakti. These are being executed at a very, very rapid pace. And I am being a coordinator for the Gati Shakti for Odisha. We have been monitoring every year at highest level. These Gati Shakti projects are being monitored for completion. And you can see that out of which some have already been completed, some are under development, some are under implementation. Next slide. So apart from to provide an alternative mode, in fact, we have signed a platform which will connect to all the players who are connected to maritime business. So that is already on. And next slide. These are some of the smart, green initiatives, because we have to ensure that the operations are sustainable. We should not spoil the environment. So a lot of environment initiatives is being taken up. Just for information, next slide. So this is the way forward for Paradeep. So we want to become the premier port. We know that with 57 years of experience, this year we are poised to become #1 cargo handling port of the country, and we are transforming into 100% landlord by 2030. And we are also having multimodal connectivity, I have discussed, cargo diversification, I have discussed, and we want to become the port of the millennium of the country by expanding to 500.5 billion mark in capacity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening speech. Moving ahead on the same theme, which is ports as catalyst, we have the next topic, which is empowering Odisha through non-major ports, driving port-led development. And to deliver the presentation, I have Shri Devendra Thakkar. We invite him to the podium.
Good morning, Honorable Minister, all the senior officers, captain of the industries, veteran, consultants, my industry colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome to the Odisha session. So, we will take you through the combined session. So, what we heard, one is industry, second is the port. So I just want to take through how port can work as a catalyst for both. So it is not the port business we are looking, but we are looking for the state development through industry. So that is the big project that Government of India that has envisioned. And the Odisha is actually now doing a great thing onto this. So I will take you through this session. So the slide itself speaks, because that is the most important as far as the investment is concerned, because these are all not a small decisions. Investment decision is the big decisions. So every industrialist always thinks where they should invest. So country, India, that is now is the focus, and state Odisha, there is another focus. So this is a combination where all industrialists today is looking for this state. This is how Odisha has proved themselves that where they are going. So what I also endorse the view of Punya Sahab, that seeing is the believing. So that is how all these records that is showing that how the state is progressing. So that is the Odisha is now getting in top gear in terms of investment and in terms of the projects. So it is one of the fastest growing economy that has actually laid the foundations for industrialization and especially the port-led industrial projects. So the core which comes to this state is basically, or foundation, it comes through, this is the biggest strength as a state. But the state itself is having a lot of mines, reserves, minerals, and at the same time it has a coastline. So what it requires is only the processing zone. So that is how state is continuously moving onto this processing zone. That is how the state is become now one of the finest destination for the industrialization. What we heard earlier is ease of doing business, and we, Adani Group, we are strongly now believing into this. Many industrialists has already started getting the benefit. So this is the state where we are vouching that yes, this is the ease of doing business. Whatever you say as a business, it is made available to you. So all the policy, it's a very friendly policy, business friendly policy. The people are very approachable, and that is how the state is growing. So let me take you through the Eastern Gateway of ASEAN region. This is the best way. So what we heard from the Sanjay Misra sir's first session, that it is not today. or yesterday. It is from the ancient time the trade is happening for this state. So that is how the legacy is already there, and now we are pushing that legacy forward. So this state is now capitalizing on its own strength, and that is how we are reaching to the Asian countries. So trade itself is remarkable, and now we are moving towards it. So all the non-major ports that has started building this. So Dhamra port, Gopal port both already started functioning into this. We are adding the cargo. So last year, put together, we already touched both ports is a 50 million metric ton. The aspiration of the Dhamra port itself for this year is to touch 40 million metric ton and 50 million metric ton by next year. And by 2030, what Harnath Saab is telling, our aspiration is also to touch more than 100 million metric ton. So that is how the all non-major ports, they are moving into this direction. This is one of the best thing, the capital itself, where we are finding the lots of education institute, lots of hospitals, these all are available. So that is attracting a trade. So it's a beautiful city, and it is giving both the things. One is, it is the third best city in India, and at the same time it is the third lowest cost city. So you can see it's a great combination. So that is why this city is the most loved city. We were talking about the industrial infrastructure ecosystem. So this ecosystem, it has already been developed. So what we are discussing in today's session is, we are further enhancing this ecosystem. So the port-led industrialization belt, what today we are talking, is adding to this infrastructure ecosystem. Since it is already there, we are now leveraging on this. The best part of this is the land availability. Many of time people are thinking that those states which has already grown up, so they have stuck up. Now it is not possible for them to grow. This is the state where there is abundance of opportunity. So that is how the industrial infrastructure ecosystem can be further grown. The best part, what we hearing in the previous session, is the educational hubs. This is a readily available manpower resource. These are all best of the best universities, educational hubs, which is available today. We are just capitalizing on it. So this manpower is already available. So you have to just go, you have to tap them, and it's a readily employable resource. So that is the best thing which the state has done for this. So now what the vision we are carrying as a port-led industrialization, we just want to touch onto this major aspiration, what our Prime Minister is saying, that we need to touch $5 trillion economy. So this is the state which has decided that yes, we are there. Since all industries is already setting up, those industries which is there, they are expanding. The new industry which is coming, and these are all coming near to the coastal belt. So that is how we are very keen that we are touching both the aspiration and vision, which is one is $5 trillion economy and one is $30 trillion economy. So if we see the Sagarmala project, these are the four pillars. So today we are discussing the third pillar, which is a port-led industrialization. This is the thing which all the states now are focusing, but Odisha is the state which has stepped up and made all industries policy in the similar work, so we can push it further. So what Punya sir, he already made it very large thing, that what state has already put the steps. So now we just want to get it done and to work on this. So as a Dhamra port, we already started working on this. So we already make one region, industrial park, and that park will give all these facilities. So it is very in vicinity to the port, and that is how the trade will start emerge. So I am skipping because this is all already discussed, but the theme of this was basically to reduce the logistic cost. So to reduce logistic cost, it has to be in the port vicinity. So port vicinity, what we are telling, that Dhamra is already having a abundant land. So that is the area where industry will start moving. Last year we already have started the project, and first vessels we received this year is a LNG vessel. So 5 million metric ton setup is already done, which will be expanded to 10 million metric tons. So that industry has already set up. So what we understood is a single window solution that is very much available for this Dhamra investment region. So if we see the map view, this is the total coastal 480 kilometer. So that is readily available. So 3 industrial zone, Paradip, Gopalpur and Dhamra, 3 industrial clusters has already been defined, and 3 more clusters state is defining. So my definition of Odisha is very simple. It's an opportunity for development. It is inclusiveness growth. It is sustained and holistic approach. So that is my definition of Odisha. So that is what we are working. So as far as if I'm going further to what is our aspiration, so we say we are abundance meets aspiration. So these are the port which has already started working very well, and Paradip port, which is today a number 1 port, and their aspiration is to remain number 1 port. So you can understand the community, it has already been developed in such a fashion, they are creating a good competition. So all the ports, we all are working in a similar fashion, and that is how the trade is getting benefiting, because the service level is increasing. So that is the benefit the trade is getting today. I just would like to highlight that Dhamra port is the only one port in India which has already got 315 million metric ton environment clearance. So you can see the potential of this port. The port which is making the policy, making Odisha, so that is helping to grow the industry. So that is the aspiration, and it is an industry friendly state. So my request is to come, invest and join. Those who already invested, please expand. So that is what we are working. So all the ports are welcoming you, all the industry, we are welcoming you. Please come, please discuss with us. We are always available and approachable. Jai Hind, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Moving ahead, we have the next theme of discussion, which is Odisha's maritime ascendance in industry insights, innovations, and investment opportunities. And I request Shri Dilip Kumar Nayak ji to take the session ahead. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, ma'am, dignitaries on the stage and off the stage, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. Actually, I'm honored and privileged to stand in front of you all to speak something about the strategies we need to adopt for improving the maritime traffic growth in Odisha. I'm very happy to see that all these topics which I had planned to share with you have already been told or addressed by all my previous speakers. Odisha is making progress in the right direction. You all have got the evidence, and everybody is told already about the projects or the strategies which have been implemented are in being done to march Odisha in the right direction, so that I will not take much of your time because we are already running late. I will go through the slides just to make sure that most of the things have been already addressed by my previous speakers. Okay, this is the port infrastructure development. As we can see, it is already in progress. We have to increase the draft, add new berths. We have to have the state-of-the-art technologies for cargo handling and explore new possibilities of putting forward some new ports. Again, this is multimodal connectivity and logistics. This is again is the key where we have to improve, and we have to increase our transportation and import and export of cargo. This has also been in place, so I will not take much time on this. We already are developing the inland waterways to improve the cargo carrying capacity. The next I have is the facilities the ship needs to have in a port. There are all types of repair facilities which the government is already trying to provide into the major and non-major ports. The next is medical facilities, reliable source of stores and provisions, insurance survey facilities, a mercantile marine department to address if there is any issues with the ship's clearances or anything, and a good Siemens club to take care of the ship's crew, and of course, international airport close by to do the crew changes when it is required. Of course, developing workforce is essential, but retaining the workforce is very, very important as well. So development of a township which will provide the workforce with the quality of life they look forward to, providing quality education, quality medical facilities, other things which will be looked into by the port to provide and retain the workforce. Digitalization and technology involvement to improve the performance of the port, this has been already addressed. Skill development of the workforce, everybody who's involved in the port operations, including the pilots, the tug operators, the people who are working on the ships, it is essential for them to develop the skill so that they do everything in a professional manner and avoid any damage or anything to the ship which may result in delay in turning around. Research and development for providing the required information or preparing for the contingency measures that is needed by learning from the other major ports in the world to be prepared for anything that we may come across to avoid any delay to the ships. Public-private partnership, which has been the theme. Everybody is trying to tell you that Odisha is the place where you all can come and invest and get all the facilities, all the privileges which is being offered by the government to make utilize of it and develop in the right direction. Environment and sustainability, again, it has been addressed. I will not go into details. Only thing is we can have some incentives given to the ships we are calling and following the green technology for reducing the pollutions, so they will also be happy. Safety, security, and risk assessment. No ship would like to have any accident incidents on the ship when their ship is in port. So this is where we will invest, do research, provide training to make sure the number of accidents are reduced to zero in the ports. So that will be another area where we will look into. Trade promotion, which has already been addressed, so I will not go into details. Community engagement, we will be taking the community along with us, providing them all the things that they need to be part of this development and address or help in developing the port and everything. Regulatory reforms, we have to have the regulatory reforms to abide by the international regulations so that we are not in line with all the developments and rules what is happening around the world. And that's all, my friends. We're running short of time. Thank you very much and wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, sir. We now have the topic Harnessing Coastal Resilience Strategies for Climate Resilient Maritime Infrastructure in Odisha, and to deliver the same, we have Captain Manoranjan Singh.
esteemed dignitary ji, my Secretary Misra ji, and Honorable Minister Tukni Sahu and others, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar. Heartfelt good wishes from the land of Kalinga. It is indeed an honor to speak at such a forum. I must thank my predecessor speakers who have been aptly contributed to this arena with their extremely valuable input and insight. When I say Kalinga, I really feel proud. It is representing a land which has been contributed immensely to the nation's maritime history. It is evident that the Kalinga was a great maritime power from about 17th century to 13th century. Had overseas trade relations with the ancient countries like China, Greece, Rome, Java, Sumatra, Simla, Bali, etc. The maritime trade of Kalinga was so dominant that the present-day Bay of Bengal was known as a Sea of Kalinga. Having said so, in the next few minutes, it will be my honest effort to throw some light on strategy for building a climate resilience and maritime infrastructure to our state. We contribute 480 kilometers to the visit 7,500 kilometer long coastline of India. Our contribution to nation GDP stands 2.8% from 2.24%. The total cargo handled by Indian port is expected to increase 2,080 million tons by 2030, out of which our state share of cargo is expected to increase 475 million tons, about 23% total cargo. Forcing this government of Odisha has very aptly envisioned and identified 14 minor ports across the coastline to handle the traffic efficiently. Particularly noteworthy has been our state of Odisha, which has been internationally adopted and acclaimed as having the most robust and foolproof disaster mitigation systems. To defining the futures of climate resilient infrastructure that is the plan and designated, built and operated in a way that anticipate, prepare for and adapt the changing of climate conditions. It can also respond to the recover rapidly from disruption caused by these climate conditions. And what will the benefit and co-benefit the climate resilient infrastructure? Indeed, current investment tomorrow will be wiped out by a single disaster. As a result, investor and sector refrain from investing. Therefore, reducing the burden of background risks by increasing the resilient infrastructure would generate benefit that extend across the sector to the microeconomic level. So, protecting coastal region port with flood protection, infrastructure, high breakwater, warehouses, efficient cargo handling, buoy system, offshore platform system, underground electric system, weather-resistant road and railway would be contribute to develop resilient infrastructure. What should we will good to do ahead? So we need clear out regulated policy, legislation and institutional framework for the implementing of climate resilience infrastructure. We need decentralization, increased government NGO, PPE program. We need technical assessment. We also need a assessment knowledge for traditional, local and practitioner resilience building. I will not spend more time, so I will just complete this my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, lastly, I request the sustainable and climate resilient infrastructure call for integration environment, social governance factor into the planning of project. This is the need of an hour. It is high time we create a resilient infrastructure having learned from so much disaster. Thank you. Jai Hind.
All right, thank you, sir. And let's move ahead. We have a felicitation of all the speakers. We have a gift. So I invite Shri Lashmikanta Behra, retired OAS, OSD, come special from the Commerce and Transport Department of Odisha to please come on stage. And we have, so please come on stage. And we have a memento to our Honorable Minister, Srimati Tukini Sahu. Shri Sanjay Kumar Mishra. Shri Sanjay Kumar Mishra. Shri PL Harnath. Thank you so much, sir. And we also have some mementos for our other dignitaries, which will be off. For the Q&A, we would be you can take the question answers outside of this hall because we have a next session. And I'll request for the vote of thanks, Sir Shri Janardana Rao to give it. Thank you.
Sir, sorry, sir. It is any question, please come to the Maritime Board. Plenary. Then we can discuss anything. It is that all the people are available at. Sir, one question to whom, sir? Very brief, please. Can you give someone mic?
मैडम उड़ीसा पोर्ट की जो पॉलिसी है उड़ीसा गवर्नमेंट की ये आप कैप्टिव पोर्ट्स भी प्रमोट कर रहे हैं और मल्टी यूज़र पोर्ट भी बट अगर पोर्ट्स जो हैं इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रुप्स के पास जाते हैं जैसे टाटास के पास गया सुबन रेखा या अडानीज के पास गया धामरा सो व्हाट हैपन्स इट डजंट रिमेन मल्टी यूज़र क्योंकि धामरा के अंदर टाटाज आर नॉट प्रमोटिंग ट्रेडर्स जो बाहर के ट्रेडर्स हैं सुबन रेखा के अंदर other steel players will not come. So this limits the potential of the port and the overall. And uske karan AMNS wants to develop their own captive port. JSW wants to develop their own captive port. So I think you should have a policy whereby all the ports, anybody who comes to the port, they should be encouraged. So this problem was there in Gujarat also. So captive ports.
Actually, this is captive port and commercial port are two different things. So, Dhamra is a commercial port. Gopalpur is a commercial port.
No.
Subarnarekha will be a commercial port.
Dhamra port does not allow traders to be there. Subarnarekha wouldn't allow steel players to be there. So, how will you ensure that a port is actually used by multiple people, not exclusively by industrial houses?
It's not. We will be taking
Sir.
up this. You have a question, but we will be answering it. If at all you please can come to our pavilion, C9 hangar probably. Then we can just sit across and we can discuss about it.
Sir, it is a Dhamra.
Okay.
Dhamra is allowing all the other end users like
The
Jindal,
other-
Bhushan, everybody.
yeah,
It is.
Jonathan,
We'll discuss later.
we will take it up because we are paucity of time. Okay. We will take.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And there is a shortage of time. This next session is going to start. So, respected dignitaries and delegates and representatives from media and other persons and ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon and thank you for coming and participating in this Odisha session very positively. And you people, many people have our team. It is especially Madam She has come all the way from the Odisha and she has explained how the keen in the government is trying to develop the ports and port development. And other people also explained about the other industrial opportunities in and around the Odisha along with the port developments. It is please come and visit the Odisha and meet the IPCO and ITCO and other transport commerce and department. We are welcoming you all. And once again, I thank you all for participating in this Odisha session. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, can we take a group picture, please? And thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We have the next session here happening in this hall for Goa. So if you are attending the session, please be seated. If you're not, I would request you to please step outside and you can network with the dignitaries outside. It's a humble request, whoever is not attending the next session, to please step outside quickly so that we can have the changeover. Thank you so much. If you're waiting to meet the dignitaries, I request you to please do that outside.